So we're moving forward to the final session of the day and of the conference, and we kept it secret and we kept it like this, and made it as big as it is, just to give a certain note to our conference. So the final session is about marketing and optimization, and it's moderated by our very own company team member, Maria Arnidou, who I would like to invite on stage. Maria has done a great job during this conference again, like she does at every conference, so the floor is yours, Maria.
Because the secret sauce is in the team effort. And where are the rest of the team? How do you want to sit? No idea. Okay, do we have enough chairs? Okay, you're all settled? Okay. All. So for this last panel, thank you, Zoltan, for the wonderful introduction. I have the honor to welcome here some fine experts from iGaming, FinTech, and beyond, marketing people, business development people, and marketing strategy people as well, to discuss iGaming mastery, innovative strategies in marketing, PR, and retention. But what does that mean? We will see in a moment. But first, I would like for everyone to introduce themselves, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alexis Weissen. I've been working in iGaming for 15 years now, both on the B2C and the B2B side. I work primarily with Unibot now, where we build the retention tools for iGaming operators, casino and sports betting alike.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra. I'm the editor-in-chief at SlotJudge, the very same SlotJudge that won the best affiliate in the CE just yesterday. Where slot affiliates, our content strategy primarily revolves around slot reviews, writing about game providers, but of course, we do promote casinos as well as we are affiliates.
Hi, I'm Dana Lihotina. I'm the Chief PR Officer at Dallas Banking, but my friends think that I do nothing at my job, all marketing stuff. Yeah, basically I'm in a FinTech PR sector for the 7th year. Yeah, looking forward to the discussion.
Hi everyone, my name is Horen and I'm Sales Manager at Slotigrator. We are iGaming platform provider and also a high quality aggregator. I've been in this industry for 5 years. I'm doing business development for online casinos. I help online casinos to start their business and win in the market and be a huge presence in the market. So basically my main target is the operator.
Hello everyone, my name is Bogdana and I am Chief Marketing Officer at Atlas AC. Atlas AC is a global leading next-gen provider for iGaming industry, and I have like 18 years of expertise in various aspects of marketing, including strategy formulation for the product, brand, and channel development. So I possess a keen understanding of media planning, assessment, and placement. And actually, I was like from innovative industry. I have like only 2 years of iGaming industry experience. All the rest of my experience laid with big multinational FMCG brands such as Coca-Cola and Danone. So I'm really looking forward to have a very nice and contribute to insightful discussion today. Thank you.
That is great. Thank you all very much. So we have had, fortunately, many marketing sessions throughout the conference, mostly focused on SEO and perhaps from a more technical point of view, along with some synergies as well. But now we are going to take a journey into the marketing strategies for 2024 and beyond, as a whole. Like, for example, we have very specific big updates that have been previously discussed, but we will review all this under the scope of a complete marketing strategy for iGaming and beyond. So let's start with the big updates for 2024, and let's be a bit original, and instead of the SEO updates, let's go to the cooking. To the cookie, yes, they're cooking, to the cookie updates and the marketing strategies to follow. So with Google phasing out the third-party cookies by the end of 2024, and with this cookie crumble future that we see in front of us, how do you suggest that iGaming operators adapt their marketing strategies to maintain effective strategy and conversion rates with the lack of cookies now?
I think the life of the classic affiliate will not change that much, given that he uses SEO, and SEO still will be the most targeted method of acquisition, because the future client itself, chooses to search for a specific thing. Organic social influencer traffic will still be okay. It will only impact the paid advertisement, which wasn't the most effective anyways, in terms of intent of the client. So I think actually operators do not need to change that much, because still the most high quality traffic will remain, and it will only affect the, let's say, targeting of more, let's say, random people with a broad advertisement.
Anyone else? Any comments on this?
Yes, in my opinion, the third-party cookies in general, like using these cookies, help the operators in general to be more visible, to use it for their benefit. But in the same time, we need to understand that the operators should use mainly first-party information in order to be more visible. And to do so, I think the best option is to rely on influencers and bloggers. But in this case as well, they need to be aware who they are approaching, because delivering high quality value is more important. You can have the best SEO, but in the end, if your if your provided value is not good enough, then you will not succeed in this. So I think the quality is the best part here, so that to assure the result. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So having this covered, and moving on to the big issue of the SEO updates and adaptations. So I have to read this because I have to remember the specific stipulation of Google. They're saying that they're focusing on removing unhelpful results and prioritizing user experience. So in this case, how should iGaming companies optimize their SEO strategies in order to remain competitive and avoid penalization as well, because that's an issue?
As one of the previous panelists said, SEO people tend to overdo things, and if something works, they take it to the extreme. And I think if, let's say, your strategy was aligned and full of integrity from the very beginning, you should be okay. But as it was mentioned, we tend to overdo the thing that works. And this is what is getting penalized. If you have spammy content, if you just copy competitors, it will be penalized. If you bring nothing to the table, as Horan said, if you don't bring enough value, then you need to change your strategy.
Yeah, I think that actually there needs to be a lot of focus around making your sites a lot faster and a lot better. I mean, you have to deliver your content as fast as possible and make sure that you avoid any issues. And there's so many tools out there that Google provides, PageSpeed Insights. All of these tools can be used to actually help you fix all the problems with your site and make sure that you don't lose anyone on the way. If one more second you lose half of your traffic, then you probably want to make sure that that second is cut from your loading speed time and so on.
Yes.
I would like also to add that actually what we are here today and yesterday discussing, it's reaction. And I'd like to propose to be pro-action, all right, to plan in advance what can happen. So, and the best advice is always to be true to yourself, right, to build a brand, to think about your clients, to think what is interesting for them, what relevant content you can bring, not just copying the practices. For example, there is a trend on sponsorship, on bloggers, on influencers. Stop, relax, reflect. What is good for you here? And you are driving on one hand the acquisition and retention. On the other hand, we have industry which has how to say, the flair of a bit difficult, right? So there is social responsibility on us. We need to educate as well. So we need to handle it in both hands. So the first thing to start thinking right now on strategy, to be trustworthy, to be open, to be transparent, to be open to talk any topics with your clients, not to be in short-term, value to get, but to think and advise in long period strategy for everything, actually, not only in PR, in everything, and build the brand. Because right now, what I actually observe in the industry, there is no brands, right? So everyone doing the same. So like take out the name, whatever it is on the carry, so you have the same content. So the customer doesn't know which actually operator he can choose. Like try to give him reason to pick yourself. Like really start thinking not only retention, but building somehow loyalty. I know that it's like very difficult, but really this is the time to be proactive, not reactive. We discussed a lot here now on regulation side, right? Like from different countries, which is actually going through the same path to the one or other extent. Taxes, fees, limitations on advertising, for example. You need right now already think how you can be, how to say, fast in adapting from one thing to another.
And one more thing that I would like to add. Usually when the iGaming contributors start their marketing, they mainly focus on their benefit and they mainly focus on their product, like pushing the product itself. But I think it's also good in terms of marketing and in terms of, the further success, so that you will provide successful and insightful information to your client, so that the client will see that you are helpful and will come to you. I will bring an example of Slotigrator, who created its own Slotigrator Academy. And with this academy, it was like a booming step back that time when it was created. And through this academy, he is providing the quality content to the operators, like how to operate in Asia, for example, or in any other market. So basically, when as a part of your marketing strategy is helping to your clients rather than requesting something from them, it really helps to actually get the benefits that you were looking for.
So to avoid this panic of the very specific stipulations and speculations, the point is to keep it real, essentially, to just look at your company and what you offer and decide on the best communication strategy towards your clients. And as long as you're keeping this real, you won't have a problem. Dana?
Yeah, and even like if you differ from everyone else on the market, you'll still find your clients. Even if you're doing everything wrong, then there is someone who likes that wrong, and he or she feels that it's right. So, yeah.
And if you do everything right, you still may fail. This is no guarantee. You may be the most full of integrity, the best product, but you still are not that successful as you want to be, and that's okay. You just keep pushing.
Yes, the secret is consistency, and this is going to go against perhaps everything we heard, but I just wanted to say that perhaps we should just ease just a bit on the automation, just make it more thoughtful. Just sit down and examine what can we really automate and where the human touch needs to go to make informed decisions.
I wonder how many minutes will pass until somebody mentions AI.
Okay. So, is there anything else you would like to add on the topic? No. Okay. So, moving on now, losing the cookies and the remarketing and that kind of PPC and the bad, unhelpful content, we shouldn't neglect social media. So utilizing social media and marketing strategies in 2024 and beyond, how do you anticipate the social media platforms to evolve as integral components of the iGaming marketing strategy, particularly in the absence of the cookies, as we mentioned?
I see the future growth of influencer traffic, and the brands can keep their social presence not just based on the accounts where some games are played, right? But with people who are real, who have opinions, and they can be brand ambassadors, and that will keep the brand whole on the social media. But again, there are different platforms and different strategies. Some may prefer to register a TikTok account every hour because it gets banned all the time. And some play in the long run on the platforms where gambling is allowed, and they do it in a responsible way. So really, it is up to every brand to choose which path they will go, the path of good or the path of evil. And yeah.
Yeah, I think there's not so many brands that do a great job when it comes to social media. I mean, social media is a very hard area to focus on. I think we have key examples historically, like Paddy Power obviously have done a great job historically with their head of mischief and mischief department, where they managed to focus on trying to get the banned by ASA and get their knowledge out that way. Then we obviously have other focusing around big brands like Stake sponsoring Formula One teams and so on. That kind of jumping on the new train basically and connecting yourself with luxury is probably something that's going to bring a lot of revenue coming Stake's way, although they have a lot already, but still.
What I think that it will be great for the companies to use their social media marketing to communicate with their stakeholders, because giving just full information and advertising everything will not help none of the sides. This is why I think you need to keep your website or your social media channels open to the clients, so that if they need some question, if they have some questions, they need some answers, they will ask and they will immediately get the response. And as an example, again, I should bring a personal example of Sloty Greater, who creates his website in a way that in every page you will find a place where you can enter your email, for example, and enter your question and get a response in the same day. I think this interaction through social media marketing will highly help both operators and service providers to be in a better situation.
And any other comments, Bogdana, in terms of strategy? Okay. So, no, but I wanted to ask something. Dana, in terms of PR, because even the B2C essentially is a constant PR campaign with your customers. How do you see social media marketing or community building moving forward in 2024 onwards?
I mean, in fintech, it works really well. Just so we started to push the employees of the companies to post content as well. By that, we kind of logically we enlarge the audience and so on. By that, catching the potential clients. of both, like of us and of our merchants. Like that could be casinos as well. I wanted it wasn't in the script, but like you mentioned Formula One, and then in my mind it appeared that how probably profitable it is for iGaming companies to advertise in that kind of sports events, just because people are betting like who will win the race, who will win the game or whatever. Yeah, do you have any comments on that?
I think when it comes to Formula One, I think it's more about connecting yourself to luxury. I mean, you can there's gambling on Formula One, but there's a lot more gambling on football, or
Yeah, of course,
obviously a lot more. So, but also they cost a lot more to sponsor a football team, and in many areas you're not allowed to be on the main dress, like Italy, for example. You have to sponsor just the practice gear and so on. But I think it's more about connecting yourself to luxury and targeting new markets, especially in Asia, where there's a lot more growth. We see across the world now with Formula One, it becomes a lot more interesting for a lot of people, a lot more people talking about it. Then I think it's more profitable, for example, for a brand like a B2C brand like Steak to do it, rather than I saw also Play and Go, for example, has sponsored a team in Formula One as well. So I think different companies should focus their sponsorship on different areas, and what works for one company won't always work for another one, depending on how you want to look and how you perceive yourself towards the world. I mean, Paddy Power probably shouldn't go sponsoring Formula One, but Steak is someone that can really work that as their, want to be young and bold and masculine, I guess, and so on.
And I would like to add, I guess, this obvious thing that actual social media will stay, they will grow, and we need to put the hand on pulse to measure actually which one is working better for you, in terms of the objectives that you have for your company, for the brand, for the specific campaign. Because any campaign you're making on sponsorship or influencer, you need to leverage all the channels. Then you will have like multiplied effect, right? So you need to put it in advance, all the holistic plans of all the channels, and social media here is like will remain the key right now.
I want to expand on what Dana said about employees and colleague posting. I think this can be a hard thing for many companies, as you have to give up control to have the bigger social presence, and for some companies it's really hard. I guess it will be easier for like smaller startup-like companies with flat hierarchies, but if you want to have like fully controlled and orchestrated brand message, then you shouldn't.
But like if you
Let everyone post.
if you treat your employees really good in a good way, and they are proud of where they are working, then
and I will have to intrude in this, because we had the panel yesterday about company culture where no one asked any questions and they seemed like they wanted to yawn. But this is why you need to embrace the culture brain and have a healthy company culture and happy people working for you, because then it's a no-brainer. They will just do it spontaneously. They will support your brand and they will become your brand ambassadors from the inside. And essentially, you train them and you allow them to do this.
Yeah, they will be happy to wear your merchandise. For example, I have 8-year-old brother, and he's wearing my merchandise, which I made for other companies. Like literally, he got the Noda stickers, he got the Dekta hoodies, like wherever. And it's not necessary, but he's telling to even his like children in the school, like what am I doing? So.
And
Yeah, I mean, the brother is fantastic, but. I mean, he's fantastic unless, like, he says something wrong, because, like, being happy and saying the right things is not the same thing.
And actually here we're about the control again, right? So social media is about openness. Actually, any person can comment and can express any idea. It doesn't matter whether it's employee or, I don't know, the client, potential client, or someone else. So here you need to be prepared not to control. Right, so to be open and to lead, and this is up to you. right? Like in any conversation, what are you allowing to do? How much you're open, and how you can first and lead in the right direction. This is for me also the key point. Actually, I'm here as advantage because employees are the best for the brand, right? Ambassadors actually for any brand. If they are happy, then the product is good, and the brand is right, and the company is doing great. Then everyone believes actually in the brand. I have also example from different industry, but it actually demonstrates that inner attitude may multiply the effect many times more than the external side. And we always forget about this. Where we should start with employees.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not about telling your employees that they need to post on social media about your company. It's about creating opportunities and places where they're going or things you're doing that makes them want to do a post on social media that then obviously brings their own flair to the post themselves and will then spread much better in their own network because their network is probably very similar to themselves in general.
Yes, this is also about influencers. You cannot actually be sure that everything they do, except, for example, your brand sponsorship, is right? So then you, for example, picking up the influencer, you should also be aware how it will influence in your brand in the long term. I know a lot of examples. Then they start sponsorship and then finish it because person is not the attitude, promoting the right attitude. So here, a lot of cons that you need to be aware in advance and be open and just lead into the right direction.
And also, since Bogdana, you mentioned other industries, we have seen now that the best strategy, especially in social media, is to embrace the unexpected and your quirk. Like we've seen with Ryanair and Duolingo, they just take the weird stuff or even the criticism and they turn it around. So, yes, you wanted to say something?
I was just agreeing what you were telling.
At this point, since we're talking social media and it's something that everyone uses for their company, does anyone have any problems that they would like to ask about how to handle, how to build a community? Okay, nothing. So, moving on. Oh. I'm sorry, but if you're asking me, that in the HR part was on the onboarding part, is how you onboard the employees. But specifically for iGaming, let's let Alex.
Yeah, that's also the question about what was discussed before about control. And I have to ask you in return, does it really have to be that polished? Does it really, does...
You probably have to pre-agree the post before posting. That's.
No, it's not about afterward
reaction, right?
Micromanaging of the posts that will be posted about the brand, but to give them
the overall understanding of how it should be done.
Totally agree, because if you want some kind of outcome, you need to actually give all the key points for those audiences, because we are coming from different departments, from marketing, from sales, from product, etc. And we have our own angle, and we are thinking from a different perspective. Even if we have cross-functional project and we're coming in one room, everyone is talking about, from my point of view, for example, I'm sitting here and I don't see this audience at all. So and we need to focus on the customers from that side. We are not talking about ourselves, right? We need to focus on what is needed, what kind of message we given and how it's decoding by the audience. This is true. You need to get this, intro, whatever we are going to say, how it should be seen, at least some templates, for example, so it couldn't be like white with some kind of font. It should be, for example, blue with logo, at least. Then it gives the right direction. It's like very simple. It's not only about this, and you can even like share the content inside, then make the discussion, and then share it outside. Then, for example, there are a lot of programs, and actually about polishing. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Yeah, so it's about the planning, preparation, and then launching. Always. Marketing is about a lot of planning, analyzing, and then giving this final piece of material, which actually contains these like 3 or 2 words with actually the whole strategy inside. You know, it's not that easy, and I agree that you need to prepare your ambassadors to be really ambassadors. Like, you know, then in every conversation, this person will know what to say about the brand and will make the opponent in the discussion understand and like it. That's the final point.
Just a comment about the question and suggestion. I also agree that you need to educate your employee, educate your staff how to deal with social media, but in a sense that you need to provide information about your brand, about what are your values, what are your highlights, but not simple and basic knowledge, because it should be done before hiring. Like the technical stuff and how to do this or this, it should be pre-checked before you hire someone. And after that, I completely agree with you that only after that you need to educate them to make them prepared for not social media, but social media for your brand, because it's totally different. And the more specific you will educate, the more customized you will educate your employee, the better will be your result. Yep.
Yes, please. Do we need a microphone? Can you yell?
You should probably we can start with you asking how much are you willing to pay for a particular influencer, because there's no there is some, let's say, traditional or preferred ways to work, but it all boils down to how much you are ready to pay for a particular person. Because there's no fixed price on such things as, let's say, design, copywriting, right? It can cost €1, it can cost €1 million. It's all the same text, but it's just you are also the part of the value of that collaboration, and if you want a particular person, you will, let's say, you would pay more because you like him or her, right?
I think it a lot depends on what kind of streamer you're working with, how big they are, and how they work with other brands, because you're not going to be the only brand that they're promoting. Generally, there are streamers, of course, that get fully paid by one brand and keeps playing on that brand, but generally you will be going through different brands, either providers or operators yourselves. But it's all about which kind of streamer you do find and how they work, rather, and what other things you can bring to the table in terms of bonus money or other connected values that's good for the affiliate to push and leads to them creating content that they want to put up on their YouTube channels and other channels as well.
I would add on that if anyone knew how to get viral, everybody would be popular already. So there is a great deal of luck that, like, a streamer is very popular, right? And I mean, you could try to grow in-house streamers, but it doesn't really work either.
That's like artificial. Kind
You
of.
can,
I mean, you can do, but that's artificial.
I mean, that's what I meant by there is like a component of luck in every success of the social media stars. So you can't replicate that, and unfortunately, there are costs associated with that luck and with that success. So yeah.
Just a general overview and approach to your question. From the sales perspective and also from the personal perspective, apart from the iGaming, I'm a blogger, but in a travel world, like I'm travel blogger, and how I ask my partners to pay me according to my statistics. In general, in the blogging sphere, the statistics is the most important thing and the impacts that you're providing. This is why I think you cannot go to all the bloggers with the same approach. You can go with one blogger with revenue share, with another one fixed fee, with another one per view. So it all depends on what kind of quality and what kind of statistic he will give you. What I will do instead of you, I will just ask for feedback of his content, like what he's doing and what is his impact. And according to this impact, you will decide which is the most, beneficial for both of you.
And maybe answering, because you asked win-win solution, right? So there is some kind of problem of detecting the right price, because it's not about the approach. It's about both sides to be happy with its sponsorship, right? So it doesn't matter which actually model you will pick up until you come to the conclusion that everything in the deal is fair, right? So if it's about growing together and long term, then you need to figure out then this revenue share model, right? If you would like to leverage potential, either yours, because you're like maybe bigger brand, or the blogger, which is bigger, then you will try to use this fixed approach. Then you can put as much as possible elements in this contract, yes, and you will get, but the price is fixed. So the key here, what is the win-win? Then you need to understand the other partner and your position on that, and then come to the conclusion. Because everything working until you get this formula win-win, or the other one.
Yes, please.
I would like to touch upon the fact that not every player is the same, right? There are some big whales and some smaller players. And if we touch upon from the retention side, then cost per acquisition side. So how are you managing the fact of acquiring customers that are customer lifetime value is higher for you? And how are you retaining the customers that you know they have higher customer lifetime?
Excellent question and forward-looking, please.
Yes, I'm not representing the operator side, but I'm working with operators, and I will tell how our Slotigrator operators do in general. It's not a secret, it's like a general, practice. They usually maintain their players through giving promotions, but the promotions which will not be one time, like deposit bonus, you deposit, you get your amount, and then you go to another online casino, and with this bonus you will create a bunch of bonus abuser. No, you will basically create a campaign, marketing campaigns with attaching bonus, for example. What is the best one, which is statistically also working, that you need to give even small bonuses, but frequently in every specific day. For example, every Tuesday you are giving €10 bonus or some cashback bonus to your player. So the player is staying entertained, He's not getting it and disappearing. Yes, please.
But not personalized, like flat to everybody.
I would say, I think personalized is better, because if you will give all the VIP players 10 euros, they don't need it and they will go. But for the new players, it will work. And also other bonuses can be like birthday bonuses or some event bonuses, etc. So the first thing to maintain your players will be giving bonuses and keeping entertained, and also keeping them less limited, but it should be very sensitive, because if you will give much more freedom to your players, you might have some trouble. So you need to understand like also the limits, because the more you give the opportunity for them to bet, to be more involved in your online casino, the more they will stay in your online casino.
I think Alexis has something to add to this. I saw him being restless.
No
yes,
pressure.
sure. I think in general, when it comes to acquisition, I think it's very hard to, unless you work with some very, very specific affiliate that has control over certain VIPs, you're probably gonna get a spread of player value from your traffic, and it's about identifying the higher value in general, and personalization is very key to keeping them. I think there's also much more similarities often between a VIP and a smaller player than it could be between that same VIP and another VIP. If you have slot players, you have table game players, they're often much more related to the other people that play the same games and what kind they're looking for, either if it's high volatility slot, low volatility slot, much more similarities between different players in those player groups rather than just averaging anyone who's a VIP or anyone who's a smaller player. I think also nowadays we have every site, as we mentioned before, looks the same, feels the same. They're literally almost identical, how the player lobbies look. Some might have certain features in them, but in general, we're in a place where everyone has the same 10,000 games on their site, and they're pushing the same games. Often the top 5 are very relative, maybe often because Pragmatic buys it area or similarly, but different providers go about it in different ways when they want to push their different games. I think if we look at mobile gaming, then we've seen, or normal gaming, we've seen a flurry of things outside the game itself in terms of challenges, missions, achievements, loot boxes, as we talked about here before, and so on. So there's a lot of that area that is about to come into the iGaming sphere that in the next few years will probably keep a lot of players staying on those sites instead of going somewhere else, because yeah, you can get your deposit bonuses somewhere, but maybe focus more around promoting gameplay and winning rather than promoting depositing or losing as in cashback. These are often things that players don't want to do. They don't want to lose. They don't want to deposit. They understand that they will have to deposit in order to play anything, of course. But pushing players to play more or win more, or creating more enjoyment when they do win, is probably something that should be focused more on to keep players coming back.
And you always need to be aware of where it's going, what kind of things are preferring, what is working right now. So you need to analyze every time. So you need to be creative. For example, if it's deposit working, then you need to start thinking of another stuff to do, because actually everyone else will introduce the same mechanics, and you will slow down. What also mentioned by the colleague, that you need also to figure out this growth management approach. There you segment upon the RPU, the frequency. Then you can mix the audiences. For example, there is an overlap on casino and betting, and you can like bring new customer from a casino to betting and from betting to casino. And here is the education also formats. So you can be really creative how to retain, and maybe give something really outside actually gaming experience, why they should stay with you. Just to think about, something else, like in long term, to be at your site.
I think if you create something that give the player a reason to stay, I think one great historic example is players who played video bingo online. They went into the chat rooms, they played their bingo, but on their side they played a lot of slots and a lot of casino games. So in general, they thought about themselves as bingo players, but 80% of the revenue came from the casino that they played on the side while they're still chatting in the group, and they're feeling more social and they're feeling like a bingo player, but in reality, you're pushing them towards another product and they don't even think that they are that kind of player.
Then you need to also think about qualitative acquisition, right? So as qualitative it will be, the bigger retention will be. Then you need to also check all these, conversion rates from acquisition to retention. So, and actually give the boss, right, the right instrument and mechanics to grow them, because there is no acquisition, no retention. So you need to focus on both. And actually, non-industries retention is, cost little money, but you need to be creative there.
And also, let's not forget about the loyalty programs that you can encounter. For example, to create some loyalty programs for your players so that they will stay, they will do something even not related to the gambling. They will enter, they will do something not related to the gambling, and they will get some points. And based on these points, they will get some presents, for example, etc. Statistically, this loyalty program also works and works very well.
We also mentioned a lot of functionalities, but probably one great thing is also great support, fast withdrawals, speed on the site, and those kind of things. There's more soft values that are of some easier to implement, but also harder to keep doing in the right way. In some places, you can keep your players a lot longer if you have fast verification. They feel like, oh, I'm verified there, so I go and play there, so I don't have the issue of withdrawing somewhere else. Those kind of thresholds will keep the players staying on your site.
Are you covered? I think that I loved all the answers, the bouquet, so everything molded a strategy already, and essentially at first you take a gamble on the virality of the influencers and the streamers, then you build a community, and then you can check their lifetime value through their action on the site, and then you move forward with your retention techniques, and it's cross-selling, crossover, and all that. While we still touched on the acquisition part, and before proceeding further to retention, in terms of lead generation now, and considering the emphasis on data privacy and all the modifications in GDPR and all that, what other techniques are there that iGaming operators and beyond, and fintech and anyone in modern companies can utilize for their marketing strategies?
In my opinion, the best way, even though I will sound some conservative, but the best way to get leads is attending iGaming events, conferences like this, to talk to the people face to face and to generate the leads. And by saying generate lead, I mean creating partnership, creating some bonds with the attendees, etc. This is the traditional way, and I should say that it works really good. But if we are talking about online lead generation and lead generation through some technologies, etc., CRM systems are the best for generating the leads. I wouldn't advertise any, but there are a lot of them, which can be a very good asset for lead generation. And also through your social media accounts, as I mentioned before, like being open to through the social media, through your website, and also for the lead generation from the sales part, I would say that sales in every company, sales department and marketing department should work very closely together so that they will generate and proceed the lead properly. Because if there is no adequate bond between these departments, maybe the lead will be generated, but it will not be proceeded properly. Or maybe there will be a lot of leads, but the quality will not be good, and the sales team will not be able to proceed. So I would say that another technique to make lead generation easier, to create the bond tighter between these two departments.
I think one key, we mentioned it before as well, is creating win-win situations with your partnerships where everyone feels that there's value in the partnership. If there's a one-way partnership either way, it's probably not going to last for a long term, and the long term is generally where you see the most value coming back out of the partnership. So creating both personal relationships with your partners and being there for your partners and helping them whenever there's an issue will probably keep you in their top of mind and make them work more with you than they want to work with other people. And then in the long term, it's going to be a win-win for everyone.
I will mention one thing that surprisingly is still often overlooked is all of your communications have to be completely clearly defined. The person who is reading or perceiving the message, whether it be in text or a video or in person, should understand clearly what is the value of your product.
Thank you, perfect. And now that we already had the opportunity to touch on the retention side as well, let's move forward and touch on the tech innovations part of our conference. And I wanted to ask you, what sort of technological advancements do you see being useful in the player retention arena? Like, for example, the use of cryptocurrencies and wallets, or even AI mechanics or whatever.
There it is.
I know we kind of snubbed the AI aspect when we were discussing the panel because everyone talks about it, but let's include that as well. So what are the tech advancements that you see promoting player retention?
I like these AI videos when you add kind of like items into the sky or something like that. You've seen them probably, right? Like there are some you get the real like, for example, Jacques Muse, the bag thing. Mm-hmm. They put the trains as their bags with the help of AI, and that was amazing, like advertisement campaign. Yeah, and then everyone heard about that, and out of the sudden, like 2 months after, everyone learned how to do these videos. So the learning curve is quite fast, and then you have to think of other stuff to do as well.
Yeah, I think when it comes to AI and retention, I think we're probably on the cusp of seeing it work more and more. We see some companies focusing a lot on the personalization and how AI can help there, but a lot of platforms and it's very hard to build everything together in one way, and especially older platforms might have a hard time making use of the technology in a good way. So CRM systems that use AI to determine to get the right offer to the right player at the right time, I guess is something someone has said before. But yeah, I think we've seen a lot of technology advancements in the last few years, and I think there's a lot more coming, focusing around more features around the games and not just the games themselves. As we mentioned before, everyone has the same 10,000 plus games, and sometimes you need to add another layer outside of the games that makes it fun and makes players coming back.
So on the cryptocurrencies part that I mentioned in the question, according to your experience, how is this going for player retention? Because also Alexis touched upon the fact of having fast payments, fast withdrawals, having a reliable system. How does this work? Does it really, are there clients, are there customers using that? Does it play a role in the whole retention strategy?
Yes, it does actually. And right now, I would say when 10 leads are approaching to us, at least 5 of them are interested in crypto. I wouldn't say like pure crypto, the combination of crypto and fiat currencies, but majority of them are still interested in cryptocurrency, and this is why in all the businesses of iGaming we need to include this cryptocurrency topic as a main key point. It's there already, the cryptocurrency is there, the Bitcoin is rolling, and we can neglect AI for now at least. But we cannot neglect cryptocurrency. Yeah, exactly. And this is why I think the more we will build our product Web3 friendly, the more we will benefit from it.
Yeah, I think crypto is obviously here today, and we've seen an enormous growth in the last 6-8 months in the values. But there's a lot of people who want to play with crypto for various reasons, anonymity, and they want to be able to get their money back in fast. They want to, maybe even nowadays we've seen a growth in, I think it was yesterday, they talked about it on the Swedish legislation panel about how do we see a growth in on-chain gambling, where the gambling itself happens on the blockchain and fully traceable. Obviously, it's 100% well, fair play, I guess. So, I mean, we see the growth in dice games, and obviously, as we mentioned before, stake is really taking a lot of value out of that market.
Yeah, iGaming in that sense is quite unique field overall, just because we have some, like, there are some people who are still paying via cards, like in an old school way. There are some modern people who prefer like bank links and, you know, pay by link stuff. And there are some tech advanced people who like this crypto addresses and so on, and then they really can do that. So
There are still people who use agents for betting.
yeah, yeah, and there are still that kind of people as well. But agents have to also like accept crypto in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you for this input. And you know, amidst all this advancement and the new demands and the updates and all that, how do you make sure that you also support responsible gambling in your strategies, in the strategies that you apply for retention? Especially, you know, considering what we mentioned about adding cryptocurrency and the gamification and all that, and the lead generation.
What we do with our clients, we are making sure so that they will be compliant with responsible gambling regulations, the requirements. For example, you need to have your terms and conditions in the website in a visible place, or some 18 plus icon inside the website, some stuff like this, which will be compliant with the responsible gambling and with marketing, with promoting your online casino. You need always to keep in mind that you shouldn't make them, you shouldn't seduce them. You should just provide the value, provide the opportunity, and show that it's a type of entertainment. It's not something that you will earn money from it. You just entertain yourself, you just play, and that's it. And also there should be self-exclusion options, a lot of requirements, etc., which needs to be covered by all the operators. At Slotigrator, we pay attention to these things, and so far I would say that it works out.
I would also say that I think it's important to not focus on deposit bonuses too much. Deposit bonuses work. They work very well, and but it also pushes players to often deposit outside of their range, pushes them to deposit a little bit more. Then when they start with twice the amount of money, they usually play at a higher stake because they feel that they have a huge wagering requirement to go through as well. So often it leads to them losing their money just as fast as they would have done if they didn't have a bonus. So in the end, after 1 hour of gameplay, they might feel like, was it really that great that I got the bonus? And the the operator themselves has paid a lot of bonus money, and that bonus money has led to costs with their game providers and so on. So in the end, I think it's much better to focus on spreading smaller rewards to players, pushing their gameplay, pushing their winning, rather than a big chunk in the beginning and then let them do whatever they want with that money.
And just to add also, as the part is consistent with the platform providers, right? So we also have this module that allows actually to put all the signs to be responsible gaming. Besides, actually, the previous panel discussed that in some countries there are even association responsible gaming that gather actually extra taxes, and then they need to do something, but instead they keep in this money. For example, we can think to get it on our side, operators, for example, and providers. and make actually some kind of campaigns, partnerships, right? Promoting, not to give away this money to some authority, some association that maybe will do, maybe will not do, maybe will do not right things. We can make our own, I don't know, some kind of project, right, to increase this responsible gaming, and thus actually retaining the people, because it's like there is a product, there is ingredients, right, and we should make them aware of what those ingredients are, like with responsible gaming, and then you will have this retention growing. So it's about, anyway, transparency, authenticity, and be true. So not making them seduce, lure, or whatever, yeah, with a big and fast money.
And I think certain jurisdictions also have been doing a great job when it comes to the centralized databases for self-exclusion, like Sweden. I think Germany has it as well. But I know UKGC should be someone that should probably create something like that if they want to really be part of the 21st century. I mean, they've been around since the 1800s, so it's about time that you create a database that keeps all of the problem gamblers from not gambling, at least on the UK license. They might find somewhere else in the black market, but in the end, we can't really protect everyone from themselves.
True, it's your responsibility, actually, at the end of the day.
Yes.
Very true. Are there any questions for what we've heard so far? I don't know how much time we still have. Oh, please, please.
Negative PR is also PR.
Actually, I agree with you. But if the thing is happened already and there is a scandal over your brand, there is rumors about you, bad rumors, how you can handle them? You can provide the reality to the users, to the end users, to the stakeholders, like what is the real picture, even if it's bad. Because when you are honest with your audience and when you are providing the honest feedback of what happened, for example, there will be some part of the audience which will support you and which will be more motivated to work with you despite this scandal, because they will see that you are honest and you are not misleading your audience. Because if you are misleading your audience, you will mislead your client as well. So in order to get the client, in order to still be in a attractive mode, you need to be honest with your audience and say the truth.
I'll have a weird example, but still, like Taylor Swift had had a scandal with like a huge pollution of CO2 because she was traveling back and forth for her tour to see her boyfriend, like in the States, and then blah blah. And what her PR team did is that they kind of like connected her name with some other events with good phrasing, like Taylor Swift. I don't know, attending this, and that in a good sense. So that maybe this phrase in particular is becoming popular in that time. So that her name is also associated with this good phrase instead of this CO2 scandal.
Another example which is related to gambling this time, I wouldn't tell the name of the company, but that company had a technical issue, and because of the technical issue, his clients were not able to earn money, let's say. And what they did, actually, they did a great job. They announced that the technical issue is purely because we had a lack of staff and knowledge to handle the problem, and we're sorry about this, but we will take all the responsibility. we will do discounts, we will do something which will compensate you. So basically, it shows that the company is responsible, and in any case, they can handle and they can be still with you.
I want to add on top of that, not being afraid to be made fun of really, really helps. If you can side with your client and laugh together at the problem, or at least show the same emotion, or show the emotion that you now and ye which made an error or was the cause of the scandal are like now two different entities almost, and you today make fun of yourself yesterday who caused the scandal, and in that way you can create how to say resonance with the client and side with him, so that could really help.
Ryanair is probably someone that's doing
Yeah.
that very good on social media.
Yes, in any case, the first step for PR handling in these matters is to acknowledge the issue. Don't just throw it under the rug, pretend like it's not there, and then you can gain control of the narrative and actually be honest and take responsibility and proceed. So I actually have no idea if we are on time or not, but very two short practical tips that we need to hear. We heard the question about establishing partnerships with the streamers and the influencers and the pricing and all that. But in general, do you have any tips and specific tips or key factors to establishing successful strategic relationships with affiliates, influencers, and other respected companies to elevate your credibility and your image?
Yeah, you just do some content together. Like you can do podcasts, webinars, workshops, wherever, like mutual stuff. It always works good.
I want to tell how we do it at Slot Judge. We basically have different people for different audiences, and each one of those brand ambassadors speak to a different people. Let's say I'm here as a part of our public relation efforts, right, to B2B audience, but we also have a streamer who speaks different language and is present on different platforms. So everyone ranging from the players to our casino partners to game developer partners can basically find a person to relate to. And also we use all available communications, all available social channels, and we make all of our comms really consistent and really present. Basically, nothing contradicts itself, let's say, and we have some sort of, let's call them rituals. So we do stuff every week, every month, and the audience, whether they like it or no, they know they can expect something to be out on a certain day. And even if they didn't love the message from the beginning, people tend to love what they know. And if they see something multiple times, they get better, like they're more fond of it. Yeah.
I will add what we do at Slotigrator. We are highly relying on case studies, because in social media marketing and in marketing in general, you need to show the realness. And when you are talking about theoretical part, how you can do your marketing, etc., etc., okay, it's a knowledge, it's good, but it's more, it's
Prove
easy to
it.
digest. Yeah, exactly, prove it. It's easy to digest with case studies, with examples. That's why we, on LinkedIn and on other social media, we frequently are sharing the case studies of our own clients, how they succeeded with our products, what we've done, what we are going to do, so that the potential client will come to us, will see the success that someone get with us, and will be open to work with us. This is something that I should tell that according to our internal statistic, what we've analyzed, etc., it works very well.
I read Slotigrator email newsletter, by the way.
Sorry?
I read your case studies, by the way,
Oh,
so it definitely
perfect.
works.
That's very nice. Thank you.
And Bogdana, do you want to say something? I just want to add that with Alexandra speaking about their streamers and the B2C audience, we are actually going to host their streamer next Thursday on the Hip Thurs Weekly Huddle on LinkedIn.
Whee!
So we'll keep you all posted. But now on the last part, I really don't know, have lost track of time, but of the practical advice and speaking of relationships and synergies.
There is a question.
Oh, sorry, so sorry.
I do have a question. How do you manage to integrate compliance requirements when it comes to creating marketing content? I know that the process of creating marketing content implies it very much depends on creativity. And I've seen it many times in practice running into compliance obstacles. How do you manage to integrate both creativity and compliance?
For us, it's easy. We're affiliates, so we're not regulated that much. We don't need a license to operate, and we're a global brand. I mean, we just get blocked by some governments, but that's okay. I mean, the website is alive, so I mean, we don't, let's say, we're not regulated, right? If somebody doesn't like them, some government, they just ban us and we go forward. The brand still is alive. And the other thing is, well, yeah, I think that's the only thing, actually.
But as you mentioned, it depends very much on which jurisdiction you're marketing in. Some jurisdiction is going to be a lot more lenient, and others will have a lot more strict regulations. I mean, take for example, I think BetMGM and Leo Vegas, when they marketed with Chris Rock now in the UK, they they got cleared in the end by the ASA because they had done a huge backlog of work before moving forward with him and come to the conclusion that he's not targeting kids, even though 14 years ago he was in Madagascar, right? But they came to the conclusion that anyone who liked Madagascar when they were kids are probably over 18-year-olds now, so therefore it's not really, he's a 52-year-old person who got hit by Will Smith, so now maybe not so much. It's not for kids anymore.
Yeah, when it comes to affiliates, it's less responsibility because we don't, let's say, we don't process any payments. We're just giving the players the entertainment, and they can choose whether to play in the casino or maybe they just like to read and play demo games. That's totally fine. So for us, it's a bit easier than for operators.
And what we do usually at Slotigrator, we are basically... no, I'm not advertising. I'm just telling it.
Let him
based
do
on
the shameless self-insertion. That's why we're here. We're all promoting our companies.
Actually, I have no intention to do so. Just I'm trying to provide the possible examples that at least I have, because I'm here to share my experience.
But you base it on real data, on your own.
Yeah,
own
exactly,
data.
exactly. So what we do, we usually categorize the marketing strategy based on the target. For example, if we want someone to play in some casino which is operating worldwide, we are doing promotion in Sweden in the same topic in another way, and in Curacao market, for example, in another way. So basically, it highly depends on where you will go, and wherever you go, you need to be compliant with the regulation. And this can be with marketing strategy diversification.
I would like to add, actually, we are in Atlas AC. Sorry, it's just a...
Louder, please.
Louder, please. Actually, this is a good question, and marketers should always bear in mind that there is a compliance, actually, and depending upon the industry and the country, it can be stricter or more softer. But, for example, in my whole experience, it's hand in hand. You're producing creativity, you need to check whether it will be suitable, because what's the purpose then if you cannot do it? Or you assess the risk, you take this risk, then you go on market, for example, take the penalty and go, but there is a purpose you do it, right? So always we check on regulation, always. So this is my advice actually for everyone, because it takes a lot of time and money to create something which will not work for the client or for ourselves, so it doesn't matter. So you need to be aware of all the limitation and be taking risk or not.
Actually, I have a bit of a practical input to offer, because I've done some proofreading in content work, in blogs promoting iGaming and stuff. And usually, depending on for whom the creator works for, they give you guidelines. So the copies that I was getting were already written by a copywriter, and I would proofread them, but I could see the guidelines that the company offered from the start, like don't emphasize like go play there, or just highlight the fun aspect, like Corin said. So they give specific guidelines, which I suppose they have dedicated departments keeping in touch with the localized regulation. So yes, I hope we covered that, and I'm sorry for not seeing you. Okay, and speaking, no, actually not regulatory, but with this relationship building and with the customers. In terms of feedback, because it is the most important way to improve and to actually listen to what the customers have to say, do you have any specific mechanism to share to improve this and to keep getting better?
I will say a controversial thing, maybe. You don't always have to listen to what customer says. Because like I don't know myself that well, right? I may want one thing this day and tomorrow I want completely different thing. You have to base your decisions on data rather than feedback specifically. Data is your feedback.
Yeah, you have to convince that they need that, like, or that they're going to need that in the future.
You can offer.
I mean, yeah, you can offer,
yeah.
but like.
If you market something really strongly, you can get players to like it. I mean, there are many cases in the history now where some games have been marketed enormously, like Starburst, for example, Book of Dead, where those games, one of the biggest reason was that they were one of the first games that were 10-cent free spins. So a lot of operators pushed them with massive amount of free spins, and then if you give a lot of players 100 free spins to play a game, if they play a game through 100 spins, they will understand the game in another way, and they will see what is it that makes me win in this game, and they will find the joy in it, rather than if they have to play for their own money and just play 10 spins and then they thought they lost, and then, no, that's a bad game, I'm never going to play that again. So it's about, if you have a lot of people trying something and they try it in enough long time, then there are going to be a lot of those people that actually will continue playing it because they've now seen the light, so to speak.
I agree with Alexandra that it's not always working to follow what the clients are telling, but at least to consider is good. So at least frequently, not with every day or whatever, but from time to time, it will be better to hear from them their opinion. Maybe they will say, you know, you need to change the design. Okay, everyone says you need to change the design. But for example, you see that they are not satisfied with the design. But if it works for you, at least, you can keep it. But at least you will know what your audience is looking for. And if something will not work, you will say, okay, maybe this is because of the design. So I would say that keeping the feedback, the organic feedback between the client and the service provider will be good, but in an adequate sense and with some limitations.
It's a mixed approach, actually. You need the data, which, for example, says that everything is working, but, for example, you have negative feedback from the client who said you cannot, just neglect it, right? You need to figure out what is going on. And if the data shows that something going on wrong, then you also need to get this feedback from the customer, clients, whatever quantity, quality you have. So it's always both, and you need to promote this feedback, because it's again the second two-way traffic, right? So you're feeding something and you need the feedback. So actually, what does it mean? You need to pay attention and manage it in accordance with data and your objective, of course. What is the biggest for your pool? What are you trying to reach?
Thank you. And so we've discussed all those strategies and the communication with the clients and how to approach them, to acquire them, all that. But in order to do all this, we have to face the music that our industry has kind of a, well, let's not say bad name, but it is kind of misunderstood in everyday life, like outside our very own industry, in the world, socially. It doesn't have the best of reputations, unfortunately, because people are not educated enough about regulations, compliance, etc. What else can we do in terms of marketing strategy, and how can we, and PR, and how to focus on our efforts to bringing the conversation about iGaming into everyday life? For example, in the US, they managed to bring the fantasy sports conversation, the paid fantasy sports, and now the sports betting and sportsbook conversation into everyday life, make it like a term that is used every day. How can we do this?
I would suggest maybe it is a matter of the emotions that you put into the messaging. So it's you have to still make it fun, despite all the regulations, despite all the, let's say, rules that we have, and try to retain that playfulness, because in the end it is iGaming, so gaming should be fun while you're being responsible, of course. Maybe when we get this topic out of the taboo zone and we'll be comfortable discussing it during the dinner in the kitchen with our parents while visiting the hometown, then it will be part of the bigger media conversation as well when we're comfortable.
I think a lot of there are some gambling that is very not taboo anymore. I mean, you have obviously Lotto, for example, betting on one set of numbers every week. It's never no one talks about there's people problem gambling on Lotto tickets, for example. Or horse racing is generally not considered too much problem gambling. It's more fun, and you're looking at horse racing and it's on TV and so on, much more. People are much more educated in those areas. Then, of course, we have the more harder gambling, such as iCasino and some sort of sports betting, where much sports betting is still not, especially, well, since sports betting went live, sports betting, it was started to become much more like casino and much more gambling, rather than before when you would place your bet, then go to see the game, and you were hoping that your bet would win, and you couldn't change your bet. But nowadays, it's much more casino sports betting, and I think people think that there are more players that have a problem with sports betting now than they did just a few years ago.
We can also apply partnership with cross industries. Actually, this is about the sports itself, right? So this football tournament sponsorship, I don't know, promoting some kind of football tournament locally or globally on different levels. Besides, we can think about some other sponsorship, for example, in day-to-day activities, right? So the brand can be the part of some community, then bring value and build the industry. So it's like not the 100 transactional part, it's more educational part, more informative, actually about the industry, how it works, right? Just to be the part of everyday life and be more present among the family of the those who are playing, and actually the friends and all the community. So we need to extend maybe even the channels where we speak and through whom we are speaking.
Thank you. Any questions about any of the last topics in general? Okay, I don't know, do we close, do we not close? I'm actually out of the scripted questions, but I do have some more off script, like one particular that we haven't touched and we haven't even discussed on our call. I would like to hear specific problems from all of you that you have faced. One major issue concerning all of the strategy, the marketing strategy aspects and the PR strategy aspects that we have discussed, whether it was on the acquisition or retention side, social media, SEO, whatever. What was one big problem that you have faced in your experience? How did you overcome this?
Gen Z.
Oh, that's a big
I
chapter.
haven't.
Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. We're listening. So Gen Z, in terms of targeting them,
Yeah, I mean,
communicating with them.
They generally have a different understanding of gambling. They do spend a lot of money on loot boxes. I mean, I do myself. I have an impressive collection of skins in PUBG, but still, I haven't figured out how to transfer the casino games to that mentality.
Well, for me, I will say without being Gen Z, of course, apparently, but and then we'll have Alexis jump in because they're a much more genuine gaming generation. And when I say gaming, I mean the original kind of pew kind of thing, not the slots kind of thing. And I guess they need more into the script of instead, having slots. I guess, but so do you have any thoughts, or have you seen any examples or strategies about how to best approach them, or is it a work in progress?
It's just a plea for help, I guess. I don't have any solution yet because I think it's a global problem, and it's not a problem. It's a global situation of younger people do not understanding slots and blackjack. It is somehow it is a bit of my responsibility to try to educate them, but in all, I can't really impact the.
You can't educate the ones who don't want to be educated on that stuff.
Kids. I mean, no kids, of course. Everything is 18 plus.
And also, it's harder to talk about gambling and iGaming with older generation as well. For example, during the first year of my career, I never could proudly say in front of my relatives that I'm working for iGaming because they were like, "But
what is iGaming?"
Yeah,
they don't know the term even.
You graduated several universities. Why you are working with this industry? It's scam or whatever. They don't understand, and you cannot blame them because they didn't have the experience and they didn't have someone who will explain to them. And I think with more such conferences, such discussions, open explanations, it will be easier to bring iGaming into everyday's life.
But also to give credit to compliance, because their progress is what actually enabled all of us to be able to operate in this modern and consumer-friendly way. But I think, Alexis, you wanted to say something before about the games.
Yeah, I think a lot of the new generation, the kids, as you mentioned, that plays games are looking for some sort of skill-based. I mean, we see some newer kinds of games or slots or crash games, for example, that at least mimic some sort of skill-based thing in the game itself, even though it's still purely random. Otherwise, it wouldn't be licensed that way. But so these kind of things that actually connect with the players on another level. For example, crypto games. They think, oh, I want to play crypto games because I'm into crypto, and then it's more they relate to the fact that the game itself is played on a blockchain, and they feel, oh, then it's 100% fair and so on, right? So those kind of areas where you build things more related to what they're doing and what they're used to.
Or maybe, find game developers who will develop a new actual game and import casino mini games. Like, for example, Final Fantasy VII is full of mini games. Has always been. But anyways.
That was historically, when IEJ came in, that there was Second Life dropped 90% of their traffic because a lot of people who were playing the game actually played casino in the game.
Wow. Okay. Yes, please.
In-game
studios. So if you have like a game with 10 million worldwide users, so you could have like a Procter and Gamble maybe as a brand want to have advertising inside the game for the audition for of your players.
So a reverse approach to target them. Yes, makes sense. Thank you. And moving on with the problems, I haven't forgot because there are more of you here. I want to hear, yes, really, for real, one big problem that you have faced and how you overcome this.
No.
Okay, the Gen Z, we were past
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but then Dana?
I mean, it's not that I'm not having the problems, but they're not that big enough to share.
That? Sorry?
Yeah. Maybe you have other problems.
I was also thinking about the problems, but I even do not call them problems, I call them challenges, yes, that you turn into opportunities, for example.
Exactly.
And actually I cannot figure out the most challenging part here right now, so let me think.
Because all of people here are professionals, that's why we cannot find some, problems that we encountered.
For me, one of the challenges was then we as a fintech, we were onboarding one large iGaming client, and then they kind of restricted. We did a huge tech work for them in terms of fintech, and they put us in a situation of limits where we can't speak about them really, like we cannot share the case or something like that, and then they were torturing us for like 4 months before sharing. So yeah, that was me just literally approaching their PR person on like weekly basis, and they were just ignoring us. So that's not the way how you do business, I think.
All right. So I think that they have forgotten about us, to be quite honest. I don't know what's going on.
Were we waiting for Zoltan to come and say we're finished, or?
I think that we have wrapped everything up in terms of iGaming mastery in marketing strategies for 2024 and beyond. And of course, there is still the networking party tonight where you can approach anyone in a relaxed setting with a drink and discuss a bit further. And also, yes, please feel free to just connect on LinkedIn and ask all of our experts one-on-one. I want to thank you all for your patience after these beautiful, exciting, but also tiring 2 days, and of course my amazing panel for offering their insights so generously. Please, warm applause for the panel. Thank you all very much.